Greetings, friends and fellow giddy gangsters. Somebody once said, when it comes to building and playing cigar box guitars, there are no rules. That's a good rule. I would like to add to that and say, rule number 2, the first rule is there are no rules. The second rule is refer to rule number 1. The third rule is, rule number 3 is you gotta have fun. Oh my gosh, seriously. If you're not having fun, then you need to be doing something else like racing cars or working a day job or something. And what I mean by having fun, it needs to be recess and not the crash test. It needs to be dessert and not vegetables. It needs to be fun. And so if it's not fun, like I said, you got to make it fun. Now, for example, what I did is I went and got one of these My Father's Cigar Box Guitars. Now you can't tell because I sanded this thing brutally. I got the sander out and I just attacked. All everywhere, you know what I'm saying? I got as close to these hinges as I could. Now I'm going to go back and I'm going to actually dark stain this thing and distress it some more. But I wanted to retain like the outline. I didn't want to take it all the way off. Now I could have taken it all the way off. I could have peeled it and hit it with some of that goof off or Gooby Gone, whatever it's called, and taken it all off and made it nice and pretty. But I actually wanted it to retain some of the cigar box guitar nomenclature and memorabilia. So, have I ever done this before? No. Why not? Because I didn't think about it. But again, you know, I'm trying to keep it fun and entertaining and enlightening. And for me, everything's an experiment, so to speak. And so I've just figured, what the heck, man? Why don't I try something different? Well, this is going to be definitely different for me, and I can't wait till to see what it looks like after I stain this thing. That's one of the things that I did that's different. The other thing here is, hang on one second, don't go anywhere, because I'm just going to go right there off camera and grab this neck that's on the vice grip right here. Okay, so this is actually a one piece, and there are no glue joints on the body, or on the neck, I should say. I did. It was a nice thick piece, and so because it was, what I did is I kind of did a mini scarf joint there, and it's not really a scarf joint. I just cut at an angle there and then cut at an angle there, and then use my file and my router to take off some of that to get like an angle, a taper here. So I had to do some finagling. I put this down on the table saw and did what they call a plunge cut, where I just put it where I needed to and then just lifted up the saw blade, because it wasn't straight, right? It wasn't going to be a straight cut. It was going to be at an angle, at a taper. So again, I'm just having fun, man. I'm just trying things out. Came up all the way here to where the heel would have been, and I just stopped and then cut it flat and then just hit it with the router to kind of give it that nice edge there. So again, this is a one piece. And then I went ahead and cut my fretboard. This is a 23-inch scale fretboard. And then realized it was a little bit longer. Oh, I still need to clean the glue out of the inside of here. I don't know if you can see that. You can see a little black thing here that I need to clean it out. I need to do that right now before it dries. Okay, well, let me finish this up, and then I'm going to clean it out, because I don't want that little glob of glue when I get it out while it's wet. And right now everything's still nice and wet. So anyhow, yeah, so you'll see, and then I cut this little gap right here. I cut that out so that it would be the thickness of the top of the cigar box. And then once slide it in, this little fretboard piece is going to go over the top like that. Like I said, maybe I'll just smash that glue. I just want to get that glue out of the way. So guys, I'm having fun. Yeah, this guitar is going to be fun. This guitar is going to be built for one of my wife's best friends' pastor of the church she goes to. The youth group is going to give it to the pastor as a pastor appreciation. So I need to be sure to pack lots of love and extra care and quality into this cigar box guitar, knowing that it will be used for the glory of the Lord. All right, so let the glue dry, stain the box next, cut out the sound holes. Yeah, so rule number 3. Rule number 1, there are no rules, whether playing or building. Rule number 2 is refer to rule number 1. Rule number 3, you gotta have fun, man. You gotta have fun. You gotta have fun. Speaking of fun, you always want to take the time to step away from building, pick up a guitar and play. Now I have a little looper here. This is the Timeline Strymon looper, and these things are loads of fun because you can play layers and put layers and layers over stuff. So I'm gonna do this lick that goes open, 3rd fret, 5th fret, 8th fret, and then I'm gonna have it play over and over, and then I'm gonna layer things over that, just like the blues scale. Here we go. 1, 2, buckle my shoe. Look, ma, no hands. Okay, I'll do the drums now. Alternative rhythm. Stop it at any time you want, and then start it. All right, guys, remember, rule number 3, keep it fun. All right, real quick, before we get back to the build, we're gonna have fun with the major scale. So the major scale is started off from the open. We're gonna go a whole step, half step, whole step, half step. Again, that's whole step, half step, whole step, half step. I would recommend memorizing that, because once you memorize it, then your ear will just take over and you'll just be able to play scales. But what I wanted to show you was these 2 chords here. The first chord is this guy here. My index finger here is on the 4th fret on the high string, and my middle finger is on the 5th fret, middle string, and the top string is open. That's the first chord. The second chord is just, we're going to take our ring finger and we're going to put it underneath here on the 5th fret high string. We're We're going to alternate between those back and forth. So I'm going to use the looper. Now it's important to get the kick count in your head. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And step on the looper and off the looper on the 1. Here we go. Ready? 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1. Here's the step. So if you step on and off on the 1, then the loop will be seamless. Might take a few times to get it, but so I want to do the major scale now. So much fun. Again, those chords are just these. All right, guys, remember rule number 3. What is it? Have fun. One of the things that I do to ensure that the fretboard is perfectly straight. And when I say perfectly straight, I mean perfectly straight. Is I get my little grinder, not my grinder, but my sander here. And I just then I inspect it, do it again if needs be, but you can actually see kind of where it's taking it off. Again, this is just to ensure that it is like straight. There's probably other ways to do this, but this works pretty well. All right, giddy gangsters, we are gonna rapid fire. I'm gonna try to get as much done in, let's say, 5 minutes as possible. So I saved some fretting. I wanted to cut the sound hole. I wanted to show you some of the sanding techniques. I got the soldering iron hot. I'm gonna burn some positioning marks. I also have the hot glue gun. It is hot. Got my piezo ready to go, and my hole pre-drilled there to embed that guy. Mojo's out there guarding the chickens. All right, so yeah, on your marks. Like I used to tell my kids when they were young, on your set, get marks, go. I wanted to show you how I sanded this thing here. So I just got the box, and you can see it's all already sanded, but I was just and that's 120 grit sandpaper. And I just kind of did the 360 all over it. Wherever the paper was loose, I just peeled it off. But wherever it stuck, I only sanded it halfway. That way you could actually still see the paper there. And then I measured where the saddle was going to go. Based on a 23-inch scale, it's going to put the saddle right there. And then I split the different distance in half between the edge of the box and where the saddle goes. And that's where the sound hole is going to go. So I measured twice, drilled a little hole, and then got this roundy. This is the largest one I could find. The reason being is because I'm going to do a center sound hole as opposed to the two side by sides. Now with these guys here, oh my gosh, you have to be so careful. Those teeth, dude, I am telling you, wear your safety goggles, wear your, you should be wearing gloves, okay? But I'm gonna keep my hands and fingers far away from this thing. Oh, here's another trick. So I pre-drill the hole where it's gonna go, the center hole, and that's gonna line up with this guy here. So you kind of put it in place. And make sure you hold it good, and then just go in reverse. Go in reverse, backwards. And just go slow. No one's in a hurry. All right, that was it, guys. That was going backwards. Can you imagine going forwards with this thing? Yeah, you don't want to go backwards with this thing. And then, so sure enough, man, oh yeah, got me a nice sound hole. Okay, so now we're gonna file that, and then we are going to deep stain this thing here. So right off the bat, I just want to get my little round file. I told you we're rapid firing here. I'm gonna try to get as much done as I can. Now I like to put a nice bevel on here. In other words, real deep and round cuts. I don't know why, I just think it looks cooler. And whenever you got it to where you want it, then you just sand it. Now I'm gonna go back and sand it again after I dark stain it. Again, I'm in rapid fire mode right now, guys. I am just going 100 miles an hour. So I might make a mistake. Oh, wow. Dang. One of the main things you got to worry about when you're doing stain is don't get it on your clothes. You're like, hello, Captain Obvious. You can spill it anywhere else you want, just don't spill it on your clothes. Like when I stink like stain, I gotta go inside and shower. Get all that stink off me before I go to bed. You're saying, why aren't you wearing gloves? I should be wearing gloves. You are right, I should be wearing gloves. And of course it picks up sawdust and everything, but we don't care because we're going to wipe it all off anyway. Again, this is just a, look how nasty that is. This is just a preliminary, right? Kind of round one, so to speak. So that stain kind of loosened up some of that leftover residual paper glue from the paper from the original logo. It's kind of pulling some of that stuff off now. So that's cool. This is randomizing it big time. On the inside here, I'm going to spray paint this thing black, so I'm not going to worry about it right now. But I did want to get these little extra pieces of paper out of the way, just because they're annoying me. Okay, so enough of that. Let that dry. And clean my hands before I touch the neck, because I don't want to inadvertently get the stain on the neck. Okay, so I still lack 3 more frets here. 1, 2, 3. So I am using the medium low. Oh, what did I do with there? Medium low frets. Oh, let's put it back here so you can see it. this is pretty self-explanatory. I get my slotting fret saw at cbgitty.com. And I get actually all my components from cbgitty.com. If you use my affiliate link located in the video description below, you can get a 10% discount, and you help support this channel. So go check out cbgitty.com. You can get, maybe they still have some of these shirts. But I do a little back cut right here, like a little, I'll say a 45 degree. But I kind of cut the tang. They cut the bottom part here, the part that goes into the fretboard. They call the tang. I cut it back about like a 45 degree angle, cutting it back. And I do that so it doesn't pop out. And then all you do is you just push that little thing into the fret slot. Just push it, kind of push it down so that it's straight up and down. And then I get a little Teflon tipped hammer. Gently and lovingly tap it in. And you'll know when it goes in, you just look at it, you can tell. Cut it off. Now when I cut it off, see how I have that angle in there again? So I don't need to cut my 45 again because I already got it right there. And I put the 45 degree angle on the treble side, which is going to be the side where your hand is going to be. And that pointing back part is going to be pointing away from your hand. So you're not going to get the pokey sticking out as you're playing, right? Again, because that inside part is pointing away from your hand. And this is the last fret here. Bing, bada, boom. It takes about 3 feet of, just 3 feet and 6 inches of fret wire to get, this is up to the 17th fret here. If I did 24 frets, I would need 3 feet of these guys. That is given you have a 2-inch thick, or wide, I should say, fretboard. I did sand everything, and look at me, I got some of that. Ow! I just poked myself. Yeah, these things are sharp, guys. I just did a little pokey. What was I going to say? Oh yeah, so it has been sanded. I did get a little bit of stain on there, so I'm going to have to go back and maybe even dark stain it just a little bit more. See, it was a little sloppy there. So shame on me. Oh, okay. Next, I did want to burn in some solder burns. Now this one here, again, same thing. Measure twice, cut once. I just aim for the center of the fret and burn my dot. If it's off a little bit, it's all right, right? Who cares? But obviously you're going to aim to get it right. But again, if it's off a little bit, it's okay, because the whole instrument is a little bit random. Yeah, there's something very satisfying about burning in these fret position markers. I do it on the top, on the front, and on the top. And sometimes I'll do the round tip here. Sometimes I will do the flat. No, that's not a good example. Here's a good example of the flat. It's like a flat, cut flat. So you have the round versus the flat. And they give you kind of a different profile. On this one here, I'm going for the round. On this one, you want to make sure you know what fret positions you're on, right? You don't want to, because this is like a permanent thing. You're kind of branding it. So if you brand it in the wrong position, which I've never done, I have never done that. Yeah. Never say never. Okay, I should have shown you what I'm doing here. So I'm doing it on the top side now. And I like these because they give you nice big big dots. You know, you can see these things from a mile away. So people like us who are blind can see these things from outer space. Okay, next will be the piezo. I'll finish burning those later here. I just want to get you up to speed here. So again, hot glue gun, hole that is the perfect width for the piezo. First thing we'll do is we will put a generous amount of hot glue in the hole. And then strategically place the piezo in the hole. Now you see a little notch I made on the side there? That little notch is so that these wires can come out. Okay, yeah, so disclaimer that hot glue is, they call it hot glue for a reason. It's hot. Now, while it's still hot, before it settles, I just kind of ensure that it's level and flat and centered. And that these two wires here are below the plane of this piece of wood here. And that's because I'm going to smash this thing up against the underside of the cigar box guitar lid. Okay, so it's still kind of molten, but kind of in place. Same thing, I'm going to put some more. I'm basically embedding it, so I'm putting more hot glue on top. Now I want to fill in the hole and then just give it just a little tiny little extra something. Like a little swirl on a sundae, you know what I'm saying? Just a tiny little bit extra. So I got a little mound there. I don't know if you can see that. And then just a regular generic piece of paper. You can use anything. I've used money here. I've used coins. I've used guitar picks. I've used baseball cards. I even used football cards. While it's still hot, I'm going to put it in place. And all I'm doing is uniting the box and the piezo, and then I just kind of push it, kind of smash it together, and you can see the extra little hot glue kind of oozing out. But basically what it's doing is it's marrying the two surfaces, but that piece of paper is in the way, so it's not going to stick. It's just going to be the perfect shape that matches perfectly underneath there. And you don't need to hold it there forever, but just hold it just so that you ensure that it's dried enough. You can take it off. And you can actually see it's the perfect height. Perfect, what do you call it? Surface topography. And you can go back and you can trim off this stuff here and make it all pretty. You don't have to, but if you want to, you can. And then the last thing I was going to do was what? Oh, the tuners. Yeah, so we're going to do the tuners next. But I said I was only going to take 5 minutes, and I took 15 minutes. So hopefully you learned a thing or two there. Next, I use the grinding wheel to grind off all the edges of the frets that stick out. And then I use this little fretting file. It's got a little concave on both surfaces. And you just kind of give it the once over. And then everybody's favorite 320 grit sandpaper. This is the first pass on the fret ends. And you want to concentrate on the metal part of the fret, not so much the wood. And you just look at it kind of in an angled light, and you can tell as soon as those ends polish up. That's all you're doing. Next, I'm going to notch this thing out for acoustic properties. So all I do is I insert the neck and get a little pencil and kind of outline where the sound hole goes. So you can kind of see right here is the sound hole. So I'm just going to notch this out so it's nice and smooth. And then we're going to spray paint everything black so that when you're looking into the sound hole, you don't see anything. Okay, this is the next day, and I'm not gonna lie to you, dude, I am having fun with this thing here. This build is turning out to be completely different than anything I've ever done before. So I did spray the inside black, and I put 2 of my Puckett Cigar Box guitar stickers there, and notice that when you close this thing, you can actually see it perfectly. You can actually, and because they're both ovals, when you put the ovals together, it looks like a circle. You can see the bottom here on the bottom of the cigar box guitar, and on the top you can see the top side of it. So it's kind of a little happy little accident there. The other thing I did is I went ahead and hot glued my business card up there. Just direct soldered this guy to the jack here. I opted to do the jack on the top instead of on the side, and that is so that we can open and close this thing. I secured this wood here via the hinge, and over here on this side here, it's just kind of inserted in between the fretboard and the neck, and this is a one piece. And I signed the inside. So this one here is like kind of definitely got me thinking out of the box. So next I wanted to show you how I built the saddle. So I went rooting around in my blank saddle box, and they were either too high, too low. So I had to make another one. And so I built this guy out of those biscuit things. I bought these guys a long time ago, size number 20 biscuit. Those are a little bit larger. And then the size 0, which is a little bit smaller. So I take the smaller one and stack it on top of the taller one. And then, of course, sand them around, glue them together, sand it, give it a little fret slot. And this fret here is one of those radius frets, kind of a curve to it. I don't know, you probably can't tell, but it's very subtle little curve. And I got to measuring, and it just so happens to be the exact right height for perfect action. Oh, we're having so much fun. A little change of plans. I had to opt for the wraparound hinge here with long screws that go all the way into the wood for strength. The reason being is because with that other hinge here, I couldn't get the saddle back far enough for it to intonate. And so I had to move the hinge back so I could move the saddle back so I could get the harmonics to line up with the frets. So I am going to have to raise this saddle just ever so slightly. The string action is buzzing right here. And a little bit right there. All the other notes are good. So kind of get that sitar. right, so let me raise the action, get rid of that buzz, and then we'll plug it in. Okay, the strings are the 44 wound, the 34 wound, and the 26 wound. And I am tuned G, D, G. Now I did have to put the new saddle on here to accommodate for that string buzz. Now I don't have any string buzz. And man, this thing is loud. So I am plugged into the Vox Mini. And these are the settings on the top. So there's no reverb, no delay, just a normal sound. What, you want to sing a song? What do you think, Moj? I'm getting overtones from the back side of the nut here. Listen. If I put my finger over it, it's quiet. But if I let it go, okay, guys, name that tune. All right, we are not quite done with this thing here. We're going to do some lettering around the sound hole. We're going to customize it, but I wanted to let you guys at least hear it before we I'm going to take the strings off, and then we're going to Put some letters on here and then string it back up. You remember I told you this is going to be a gift for a pastor, for pastor appreciation. So the gal who commissioned me wanted it to say, remember the cross around the sound hole. So we went to Hobby Lobby, got some stencils, some silver Sharpie, and a little cross there. So the little cross is the T for the cross. And since we're talking about the cross here, I wanted to show you how to play at the cross with just 3 simple 1-finger chords. Guys, we're keeping it fun, man. So here we go. The first one is just open, and I am tuned to G. This is G. So, at the cross, where I first saw the light. That's the 7th fret. And the burden of my heart rolled away. It was there. That's the 5th fret. By faith I read. Back to open. Receive my sight. Back to the 7th fret. And now I am happy all the day. At the cross, where I first saw the light. The burden of my heart rolled away. It was there by faith I received my sight. And now I am happy all the day. Alright guys, hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, be sure to like, share, comment, subscribe, hit that notification bell. You know the drill. If you're a cigar box guitar builder and you want to help support this channel, check out the affiliate link and the promo code listed in the video description below. Alright guys, take care, God bless, and we'll see you in the next video. Cheers!